relatively successful as an economy. Growth will be at around 2% this year, and that growth is based on manufacturing. And I think this is exactly where the South African-German link comes in. The manufacturing sector in Germany has relied on the South African manufacturing sector for a long, long time. Now, you're all aware that BMW, Mercedes-Benz and Volkswagen are running plants here in South Africa. They have big OEM operations here. And the operations here are not just some small operations, but they're really important within the larger context. The BMW 3 Series, Mercedes C-Class that are being produced here are very, very important. Every fourth 3 Series sedan that is produced in the world is produced in South Africa, for example. So we are relying to a considerable extent on the manufacturing expertise in South Africa. And there are lots and lots of linkages. It's not limited, obviously, to the OEMs, to the manufacturers themselves, but there are hundreds, literally hundreds of suppliers who also participate in the economic development of the respective communities. Roslyn was mentioned, where there is a large number of suppliers supplying not only the South African but also world market. And the issue really here is global integration. None of these big manufacturers operate in South Africa or in Germany or in the US or in Japan or in the BRICS countries alone. They're all integrated into global value chains, which makes business a lot easier for them, but it also makes business a lot more difficult for the individual countries where you operate. In Germany, we've always had a discussion, are our wages too high? We try to counter that by increasing our productivity. Now in South Africa, the discussion in these days obviously is about the labor situation and about the frequency of strikes. And I think that the issue there that you also from a global perspective need to take into account is you are integrated into global value chains. And this discussion you're having here is not a discussion that you can lead only in South Africa, but you also have to take the global perspective into account, which is why some of the 600 German companies operating in South Africa are really worried about the imminent strike. Obviously, the right to strike is sacred. It's enshrined in our constitution as well. But I think that you need to not only look at righting historical wrongs, but also have productivity as one of the key elements when you determine wage increases. And that is obviously talking about the South African-German industrial relations, something that is on top of everybody's mind these days. Now, as I said, we have 600 companies, German companies here in South Africa. Most of them obviously are in Gauteng. Most of the manufacturing companies are in Gauteng. Just as the previous speaker mentioned, obviously Gauteng is the industrial hub of the country. It's a place to go. Excellent infrastructure, a marvelous airport. We wish we had one like this in Berlin, where construction takes a bit longer for our airport than it has here. So this is really a very attractive location for us. Apart from the labor situation, where we try to support, obviously, is in the skills situation. What you need as a manufacturing country is not only the infrastructure, but it's especially a certain skill set. And that skill set doesn't mean university degrees. The guys who are actually manning the factory lines, the guys who are responsible, who you have to rely on for running the machinery, are guys who do not need to have a university education. They are guys who need to have a very solid education, education after matric that is tailored to the needs of the companies. And this is what we try to support. Part of our development cooperation here, part of what our companies are doing here is focused on skills development. We do that with particular emphasis on the green economy. For example, in wind energy, where we train the engineers, the guys who are running the wind energy turbines. We train them, not in Gauteng, I have to admit, but in Cape Town. There's a cluster down there, and the wind is much better down there. You have to go where the wind is, obviously. And we help train them and to try and set up the sector, try to participate and contribute to setting up this sector. Now, where are the biggest opportunities that German companies focus on? Obviously, it's automotive, but it's also chemical, and they're coming back to beneficiation. There's one company, for example, a very big German chemical company that does active beneficiation here in South Africa. It runs a chrome ore mine close to Rustenburg. It's taking the chrome out of the ground, and then it brings it to Newcastle in KZN, where it's beneficiating the chrome ore in the world's most modern chrome chemical factory. Little known fact, very impressive factory. And then it produces specialized fine chemicals based on that chrome ore that it's taking out of the ground. And that chemical material that they produce there is then used in the automotive and in the aviation industry, not only here but worldwide. I think this is a perfect example of beneficiation, and that company lost only 2 days to strikes in the last 3 years. So I think that's also a model of labor relations. Now, I don't want to be talking too much. I think this is a brief overview of what we're doing here. Just one last word. We're definitely here to stay. You might have noticed, read in the papers last week that we just signed another 400 million euro. That's almost 6 billion rand in development cooperation. So Germany is not here only for the short term. We're here to stay, and that definitely also holds true for our companies. We're here not extracting resources. We're the biggest partner in manufacturing for South Africa, and we want to stay that also in the future. Thank you very much.